So we are seeing our first Zerg of the day. Spawning here in the top left corner. Playing as the blue Zerg, it is Armani.
And spawning here at the bottom right. He is rocking the red paint from the team of Shopify Rebellion. Give it up for Michael Jackson. Oh wait, no, sorry. BYUN.
No, it's really easy to mix those two names up. Nobody blames you.
Well, they're pretty much the same people, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we'll see
Man,
if
I fell in love. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say I sort of fell in love with Armani's playstyle after I saw, I believe it was a GSL Code S match where he went up against Maru in the groups, and Tastosis, they coined the term spiky baneling. And from that moment on, I tried my best to play just like Armani. You know, go spiky baneling before baneling, aka lurkers before banelings. I love it. It's just so much fun to play in this matchup specifically.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people were surprised, or at least Armani surprised a lot of people by getting into the round of 4 of GSL Code S. Because normally you don't see Armani contending for a GSL Code S championship. Usually you see maybe a rogue or a dark on the Zerg side. But Armani, yeah, definitely improved a lot and made a case for himself, gave himself a chance, and had a nice little run there. And very excited to see if he can do so once again. You know, maybe even go further into the finals this time around. The next time around. Of course, this season has been determined in terms of who will face off in the finals, but maybe in the next season of GSL Code S.
Yeah, definitely. Every season, it feels to me there's always somebody new, which I love. There's always, new ways to think about each matchup because the meta has already shifted in between the times that the seasons ended and started. Now we do see a little bit of a skirmish here. Getting back to the game, Armani's all 4 of his Zerglings are tagged. That's the sign that you've got a very active Reaper out on the map.
Yeah, of course, BYUN so good with the Reapers. Kind of made his stamp with those Reaper plays back in the day. Still showing that he still got it. He and Reapers are very, very good friends.
I mean, if you get Reapers single-handedly nerfed, I'm pretty sure you got to be at least halfway decent with them.
Yeah, that's true. You know, at this point, I think every Reaper born should be named a BYUN. I mean, that only makes sense.
Oh, definitely. Yep. You do see that Reaper still, sitting out just outside the edge of the creep. Oh, is it going to get caught out? Oh, it actually does get caught out. No, BYUN, I was just complimenting you. Why?
It's just part of the caster curse, right? You can't be a real caster unless you experience caster curse.
Yes, very, very good point. We do see the first 2 Hellions actually staying at home. I'm sorry, 4 Hellions actually. So we do see a blue flame opening, which is very, very interesting. I do like it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've seen BYUN do this quite a few times against Zerg. Go for a timing attack. Now, the question is, does Armani scout this? Oh, he only scouts one factory. He sees the tech lab on the barracks jiggling, so he might not be aware of this.
Yeah, this has definitely big, big potential here because, obviously Blue Flame is nothing to scoff at. You've also got the quote-unquote standard number of Hellions, right? We see 7 on the field, which is, of course, Zergs at this point are used to defending with Queens. But these Hellions are going to run straight past the Queens. Drones are immediately evacuated from the natural. Actually, very, very good response from Armani. Sees proves to BYUN that there are actually no drones available to be roasted. So these 7 Hellions are just sort of driving around, taking some damage from the Queens.
Oh my god, they're absolutely trapped in here.
Yeah, this is how it was supposed to go. Now, they actually do get to take some pot shots at the 3rd, but not enough to actually roast any drones. These Queens Oh my gosh, Armani, the madman himself.
I bet he would love to have the I guess the option of recalling, but unfortunately Protoss just took that spell away.
Yeah, Armani with the Spire follow-up, feeling so confident. Look at that worker count, ahead 15 whole workers. As a Zerg myself, this is a really feel-good moment. You know, can we get some feels good man in the chat? That was just perfect micro on the drones, taking care of the Hellions like they were no problem.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I want to point out the really great vision that Armani has, spreading all his lings here to make sure no drops kind of go across the map and surprises Armani. So gotta commend him on such great map vision.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of feels like Armani can do whatever he wants at this point, right? He's got 72 workers. Calm down. Against 51 SCVs, and the third isn't even on location mining yet. So Armani definitely taking the lead in this early game, going for the fourth down to the south. Yeah, this is definitely this is definitely Armani's game to lose at this point in time.
Yeah, for sure. And Armani is just kind of setting himself up, starting to spread the creep, killing these rocks in case BYUN moves out. And also the Spire has been finished, so we should see a Mutalisk popping on the way. Now, of course, there are no turrets yet quite in the mineral line, so this might actually catch a BYUN off guard. And actually, did BYUN even scout the Spire yet? Nope, has not scouted the Spire yet. So yeah, this could definitely be a bit ugly for our red Terran very soon.
Yeah, definitely. I do like how BYUN is still keeping active with these Hellions on the map. Also, with that Widow Mine with the with that medevac with the 3 Widow Mines in it, you know, just sort of keeping active. But now, this is the moment of truth, right? We do see, oh my gosh, 13 drones going down for the Blue Zerg. At the same time, we do see 7 Mutalisks going into the Terran's natural, not quite finding any sort of damage. 14 drones going down. There is damage going on both sides of the map right now. We do see Widow around in the Zerg space. We see Mutas flying around in the Terran base. It's kind of going ham right now.
Yeah, a couple of ugly seconds there. Armani taking the brunt of the losses, but remember he was pretty decently ahead that even though he lost so many drones, I still say Armani is not in the worst position. I mean, actually, as I say that, a bunch of more drones here, 22 drones, and yeah, Armani starting to kind of fall apart here. He's kind of giving a lot of leeway for BYUN. Now, I still say Armani is in okay position, but I mean the army and the distance between the two are a lot more closer.
Yeah, you definitely said it right. Before it was sort of like, oh, okay, Armani's just sort of ahead. Now it's a little bit more unclear. Now, of course, the Zerg, with their larva mechanics, are able to produce pretty much instantly given enough resources and enough larvae. So Armani's worker count is back up to 81, 80 around there. But that has definitely given BYUN room to maneuver, right? He's definitely carved out some room for himself to actually get back into the game, as he does have more workers. Now this Widow Mine will not find a good connection. I was just staring at that for the past 2 minutes, wondering if it was going to do anything. Not 2 minutes, but 20 seconds. And it just did not get a good hit off. So I am a little bit happier as a Zerg myself. But yeah, BYUN is definitely not out of this game. He's taking his fourth. He's macroing up. He definitely put himself back in, I believe.
Yeah, now the thing is, the creep is spreading really rapidly. So BYUN, even if he wants to move out, he's going to have to clean up some of these creep tumors, which will give allow some time for Armani to prepare for the incoming attack. So Armani, he at least has a lot of map vision, and as you can see, he's spreading his overlord as we speak. So any harassment that BYUN wants to do in terms of drops or move out, Armani's gonna have sight of this. In the meantime, we do see, of course, Armani kind of diving in here on the south side base, but nice supply wall.
Oh, that was actually not ideal for Armani at all. The Banelings were sort of caught behind, right? And so that gave the supply depot wall time to hold off the Lings until the army arrived, by which time, when the Banes came rolling through, there was nothing to support them because the army is already there. The Terran army, the bio up the ramp. You do not want to run into that with just Zerglings.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we're headed into kind of the later stages of the game as we see Hive on the way for Armani. And then, of course, on BYUN side, adding in those doors, which I actually really like because they're effective against Mutalisks. They're good at tanking some of the Baneling shots if the Zerg forgets to micro his Banelings. And yeah, it's just overall a really nice beefy unit with a lot of firepower to add into your army composition.
Yep, I definitely agree. Now, Armani has learned from his previous mistakes down at the south side. He is sending a pretty big regiment of Lings and Banes through. Now, again, the Banes bust through, but the army of BYUN is already on site, so definitely not finding ideal damage. Now, these Mutalisks are engaging a drop, which is actually going pretty well for them, trading out a few mutas for the entire drop, making sure that it will not be able to bother him in the future as both players begin to max out.
Ooh, looks like we have ourselves a triple drop here, but the Ling does spot it. But the question is, did he see it? And then it looks like he did not see it, as all his army is kind of going towards the middle, as BYUN's secondary army is trying to clean up the creep. But the drop here on the south side will force the cancel. Yeah, it will force the cancel on the hatchery. So nice little play there. But oh, a huge Baneling run by here into the planetary, even taking it out. Oh man.
Man, 16 SCVs going down. The entire army has finally cleaned up that triple drop, right? The mutas chasing the medevacs. And wow, Armani did use up a lot of Banelings for that, as we do see his gas count. His gas bank is not existent. He's already maxed out again, but at what cost? So I'm just wondering, you know, I don't think that this is sustainable for the Zerg. I think that the Terran might want to keep trading out like this. Now, we do see some Banelings again busting through the south side wall, but again, the army's already here on time. You break down the wall, but the army's already there, so there's no use in running through.
Yeah. Now we see those Ultralisks being added into Armani's army composition, and BYUN is going to definitely have to contend with those. He does have a couple of Marauders, some Doors as well, but there are still a lot of Marines in his army as well that will, die very quickly to those Ultralisk chomping. So BYUN is going to have to, of course, kite very well against those. But boy, there's a lot of Zerg here on the south side. I don't think you can even kite this at all.
Oh, wow. They just bust through that planetary at the front. Soaking up a decent amount of damage, but, I mean, it's already going to get taken out. 4 more SCVs go down. Zerg finally decides, okay, it's time to back off after dealing so much damage to the infrastructure, as we see Armani remaxing on not 10, not 11, but 12 Mutalisks. That is a lot of gas, my friend. I do like it. I just think that it's a lot of gas.
Yeah, and he's got to be careful because his gas count is not quite high now because he spent it all. He doesn't have a bank. He does have a nice, I guess, okay mineral bank, but the gas is nearly been I guess, taken out, as he did invest in those mules and the Banelings. So he's got to be careful not to take any sloppy engagements, just kind of throw away, because again, he does not have a resource bank to fall back on. But having this many Mutalisks, that could be very annoying for BYUN to deal with. He's trying to make up a lot of turrets here on the right side, but these Thors and Marines will be in place to defend.
Yeah, now we do see some other upgrades coming up. We do see the +3 upgrades about to finish for both air and ground Zerg, but oh my god, that Thor taking way too many pot shots at the mutas. It almost looks like one more and they can go down, but the main force of Lings and Banes and Ultras goes through into the third, killing a lot of just stuff. I don't even know what to name, because there's Bio going down, there's Barracks going down, the Orbital is lifted, 11 SCVs die, mutas group back up. And while this does look like it costs the Terran a lot, you have to remember it's costing the Zerg probably a lot more, right? We see 12 SCVs going down, but Ghosts are now out on the field, and I don't think the Zerg can afford to keep doing this unless they have good macro and you keep up with, taking more bases, taking more gases, especially because, as you mentioned earlier, the gas count for actually both players has not been that good.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the resource loss, the resource loss tab, as you correctly stated, Zerg lost a lot more, 20,000 or so, and then for, of course, BYUN with about 17,000. So Armani did lost more, but remember, he does have more bases, he does have more drones, and so he's able to do so, trade out more inefficiently compared to the Terran player.
Yeah, we're fast approaching that point where Lings and Banes alone are not going to be able to do much against, planetaries, good bio, spooky bio too with the ghosts, right? And so we are seeing another... Oh, wow. Excellent Ling micro, making sure that Widowmine only catches the front few Lings, as we do see another run by, forcing the liftoff on the orbital again. But yeah, multiple engagements going on. We do see a drop going down on the north side as well, being taken care of. Oh, nope, just barely. Those Marauders are going to live to tell the tale how they slaughtered a whole regiment of Lings all by themselves.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, their names are also Artosis and Tasteless.
Yep.
Yeah, where coincidence? It's just a lot of people name Artosis and Tasteless, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Very common names.
But yeah, it looks like we're headed into the 17-minute mark, over the 17-minute mark, and both these players still trying to duke it out and claim their side of the map. Now, there are still plenty of more bases left to claim here for BYUN, but I wouldn't be surprised if Armani just takes them, as he basically has the map control right now, and so much creep. I mean, so much purple, or I guess, yeah, purple throughout the map here. And oh man, look at these broodlords. Let's go ahead and zoom in on these sexy babies.
Oh, there we go. This is definitely the next stage of the game. It's the next stage when broodlords are just about to pop. Now, we did see that Armani has stayed at the maxed count for a while now, but he did lose a lot of mutas to allow those broods to morph in. So definitely not cheap. Definitely not cheap. But keep in mind, Armani has been successfully containing BYUN on 5 bases for the entirety of this game, while at the same time he's had pretty much free reign of his side of the map. So he does actually have a very decent bank to go with it.
Alright, Ghost will go ahead and cloak and try to snipe out some of these broodlords. But boy, that is quite the army for the Zerg. I am not quite sure if BYUN can deal with them.
At the same time, though, we do see the Banes not quite finding the good connections that they want to. The Queens are coming forward, keeping those broodlords alive, but all of those infestors actually were EMP'd early on into the match. So now it's just up to these Ultralists to keep tanking. The Banelings running into the floor is not ideal at all, and now it's come down to just Queens and broodlords. However, Armani's pretty much remaxed. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. We do see a huge run by consisting of Ultralisk taking down 20 SCVs to the north. So, BYUN definitely not looking good in terms of infrastructure, but his army is definitely top tier.
Yeah, that attack actually looked quite scary for BYUN, but I am quite surprised that he was able to hold on. And I guess, with those doors, I mean, doors are so good against broodlords, and they were able to kind of injure them and take out a lot of them in numbers. But as you said and mentioned, Armani kind of basically almost maxed out at this point, as he did have some nice resources to rely on. And the question is, can BYUN withstand the next wave that Armani is going to throw at him? So far, he is doing actually an okay job, but the door numbers have dwindled by quite a lot.
Yeah, and we don't actually see more Thors being produced, as it is just Marauders. And Marauders, of course, they are decent against Ultras, but they do not do well against Zerglings. Now, do we see Zerglings? I don't think we see more Zerglings on the production tab, but, I mean, you don't need to produce any when you've already got a ton, right?
Yeah, especially since he's pretty much maxed out. And looks like he is going to dive in here once again, trying to take out as much as he can while he flies over his Broodlords and Corruptors. BYUN is going to go ahead and save the majority of the SCVs, so not too bad. Oh, actually, as I say that, 5 more SCVs goes down. It's going to be behind by 30 workers, but a nice little counterattack here on the top side by BYUN. One of the disadvantages of Broodlords are they are very immobile, and BYUN with his mobile bio army taking full advantage of this.
Yeah, definitely, like you said, right? Just this double drop, it doesn't seem that large, but, you know, you mix in a couple of Marauders, and all of a sudden they can take down 2 bases in no time. So, we see Armani struggling a little bit to actually keep up with BYUN's APM. We see BYUN expanding, taking a 6th base. Now, of course, his 5th was destroyed a couple of times, so that is now just an orbital. But this is quite a game. Again, Armani struggling to keep up his gas, right? Going for a very gas-heavy comp, losing it all, and having to remax over and over.
Alright, once again, Armani's going to try to get some nice SCV kills, which he does. Unfortunately, this CC is not planetary, as BYUN needs to morph in. Actually, did he just float his... oh, never mind. I thought it was going to be a floated from the natural, but he needs all the orbitals he can get, so he's not able to turn them into planetary, because right now he's way behind in the workers, and one way to kind of even it out is by getting those mules, of course. But that does mean that, you know, if there's a attack there and there's no units to defend, then all the SCV dies.
Oh man, these ghosts, so many ghosts killing off so many Broodlords, as in the north at the same time we do see a lot of Banes, Lings, and Ultras rolling in, not quite able to find the damage that they need. Infestors, though, coming in with very, very good fungals, taking care of pretty much the entire army to the north. Now, these ghosts are going to come back in.
Oh my god! That's a huge EMP, and what the hell, BYUN in the blink of an eye takes the series. Wow.
Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing as the blue Zerg for the Afrika Freaks, it is Armani.
And spawning here at the top right corner, he's the red Terran player from Shopify Rebellion. Make some noise for BYUN. And handed the bird in the Twitch chat, saying that game had all the units, and yeah, it felt like it really had all the units. I mean, ghosts were involved, Broodlords, Ultralisk, Banelings, I mean, Doors, everything. Maybe BCs were kind of taking a break there, but it had a lot of units, different units.
Alright, I love it. So we see the double proxy barracks going up. Now, I believe this Overlord is just barely going to spot it. The Overlord taking its sweet time to get there, though. So, we do see a single gas from BYUN. So, I don't believe this would be Reapers, right? This would just be Marines, I think.
I don't... Oh, man, the Overlord Q just changed, and he's not going to... Oh, okay, he just barely scouted. I was about to say, that would have been so unfortunate there. Whew.
Yeah. Wow. Alright, so now it is up to Armani to defend this push. Already preemptively pulling 4-5 SC... I'm sorry. Quite a few drones just to make sure that the bunkers do not complete. Actually targeting the bunker itself, which is actually a pretty good call. Now, can Armani hold on? Pulling pretty much all of the drones actually off of the main mineral line.
Yeah, this is going to be delaying the bunker of BYUN for quite some time, long enough to get at least the initial lings out, and yeah, this bunker is not going up.
Very nice. Overall, it seems like Armani is going to hold, as we just have to wait for the Queens to pop, and Queens, they really are sort of the anchor for the Zerg in this early game. Now, we do see the Marines still, you know, pushing forward, seeing what they can do, but the Queen is out. Looks like the Lings will be able to get some good DPS in on the SCVs, actually, but the Marines are still alive, so it's a little bit awkward. Second Queen coming down from the main. Wow, it looks like Armani's confident enough to start up 3 drones as this is all going on, but yeah, I mean, I'd say I agree with him. Once you have 2 queens on the high ground, it's not really easy to push up with basic Marines. You know, basic as in no combat shield, no stim, no upgrades, that kind of thing.
Yeah, now, it is important to note that BYUN is not all in with this. He has transitioned into the factory. Gonna get the hellions here out on the field very soon. But thus far, Armani has held quite well, I would say. And all he needs to do is right now is just drone up like crazy. Just drone up like a madman. And by the way, thank you, some drunk Canadian with a tier 1 sub. Definitely appreciate the support, my man. And of course, he was one of the, if you guys don't know some drunk Canadian, he was one of the other streamers for this Brawlers Club #1. But anyhow, back into this game, both of these players are just going to go ahead and transition. Armani on the side, he's just going to macro, get his upgrades, while BYUN just going to start throwing down his second CC and kind of start building up those Hellion counts.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we do see a medevac starting, so it looks like it could be a Hellion drop. And, of course, this early into the game, after such a sort of wonky opener from both sides, a Hellion drop could actually do a lot.
Now, TeaDragon, since you play Zerg, right?
Yeah. Sorry, it took me a moment. I was like, I don't know. Do I want to say yes? Do I want to say no?
What would you say Armani's kind of route is? Do you think he's going to go for, well, as I say that he throw down this Roach Worm, but you think it's going to be
Yeah.
Roach Hydralist, or you think it's going to be Ling Bingling Roach, or you think it's going to be Roach into Mealless transition? What do you think he's going to go for?
Honestly, I'm thinking the only way that I could comprehend this, like wrap my head around this, like, look, Armani with a Roach Warren, you know, like I honestly. Oh, and speaking of which, very nice defense on the Hellion drop. Only 2 drones went down. Obviously, perfect would be 0 drones, but we don't live in a perfect world, anyways. So, anyways, to answer your question, if I were to take a guess, it would be Ravager Lingbane. I think that Ravager Lingbane has, you know, seen a lot of play recently for Zergs against both Terrans and Terrans and Protoss, simply because Roaches, you know, by and large are not good units. Ravagers immediately, even though they are not as tanky, they are a little bit faster, they still deal pretty decent DPS, and of course, they have Corrosive Vials, which just gives, you know, especially pros, a lot more flexibility. Now, this Hellion drop does come back into the third, doesn't quite find any sort of damage, but yeah, if I had to take a guess, you know, going against the Bio Army, you need that sort of Lingbane to not only keep up, but deal good damage to the Bio Army. Now, the Bio Army actually is moving out, and we do see only drones on the production tab, so this could actually catch Armani off guard.
Oh, yeah. Now he just gets sight of it. A little bit of a mistake by Armani, just kind of not sending his spotter Ling out there in the field, and it's gonna, you know, kind of scout this attack at the very last moment. Let's see if he has enough units, enough roaches here to defend. Oddly enough, has not turned any of them into Ravagers yet.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, you just need something to hold on to survive, right? And like we mentioned earlier, Ravagers are not as tanky. Now, these Roaches, they might be tankier than Ravagers, but they are not really doing all that well here in this scenario. That tank in the back shelling away at these Roaches, and unfortunately, I don't think Armani gets out of this alive because he is even on supply. And when you're even on supply with Roaches, that is not a good sign. These 4 Hellions coming all the way into the natural, and it looks like they're about to roast a lot of drones, as GG is called. And BYUN takes the series 2-0